there's such a thing as hazard duty pay.
Yes.
So you got hazard duty pay every Sunday afternoon or Monday
Yes.
or Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
That's hazard duty pay right there. So those are some things to that need to be considered. Those who are critics, I believe.
And then in the long run, if you look at it and you take the salary, let's say a football player, he makes $5 million over his 3-year career. You take a physician who may be making $300,000 a year. He can be a physician from the age of 25 to 75. That's a 50-year career. Okay? His salary quadruples, or whatever that math is, compared to the $5 million you're going to make in 3 years. And the actuality is, the salary of a football player, you never see all that money anyway, because there's so much you pay out because your tax bracket is so high, so you're getting taxed out of you. You got agents, you got the person who negotiated the contract. There's so much stuff that goes into it. And it's a thing of you get paid when you play. So just because I signed a $5 million contract, if I play for the Atlanta Falcons today and they cut me tomorrow, I don't get any money because I didn't play.
Wow. I'm glad you're sharing this because it enlightens people, So the next time you're sitting at a football game, or the next time they're critical of salaries or something a player does or doesn't do on the field, perhaps they'll think about this conversation and have a greater appreciation.
Yes,
really for the I would dare say use the word sacrifice. Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, you're sacrificing your body to entertain.
Yeah. There you go. Ooh, say that again, Bobby. I like
you are sacrificing your body to entertain.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's truly all it is entertainment.
And that's a price to pay every week.
Yes.
That's a price to pay every week. Definitely a price to pay. The players that you now interact with, you're president of the NFL Former Players Association in Atlanta. What are some of the things that some of the players have engaged in? What are some of the maybe the talents or the skills or
from the chapter standpoint, our biggest thing, like, we give out 6 scholarships a year, 3 scholarships to young ladies and 3 to young men, which totals $10,000. And we've been doing that probably for the past 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And we do that. That's our biggest thing. We have golf tournaments to raise money, but we really go out and help others. We volunteer for, you name an organization. If you call me or call someone in our leadership and say, hey, we need a couple guys to support this, we go out because that's what we're supposed to do. We read books to children. We do football camps. We judged cheerleading competitions. We do fishing tournaments. You name it, we're out there. But the biggest thrill that we get is helping others. We go help feed the homeless. SCLC does a big Christmas dinner for their seniors. We support that. This past year we had 42 guys show up and feed over 2,000 seniors. And, we feed them lunch and, just a lot of things we're involved in because we want to show it's a give back. We feel that you guys supported us, so now it's our time to support you.
Yes. And a few years back, I can't remember which player it was. I remember interviewing one of the NFL players, and in his retirement, he said he had started writing children's books. And I thought that was such a beautiful thing, And
we have guys who have all type of careers. We have guys who are politicians. We have barbers. We have beauticians. We have teachers, coaches, healthcare, physicians, surgeons. So it's not a group of guys who don't have good intellectual properties. And, financial advisors, bankers. I mean, you name it, we have guys who are doing it.
That's amazing. That is just absolutely, and it's so good to hear because you can just like the analogy that I had given at the top of the show. There's life after the military. We do learn that there's life after the military. Although I still rearrange the furniture in my house every 3 months just because. I'm still, it's been a number of years, but when you're moving every 3 years or so, you get used to, you don't have that settled blood, so to speak. So yeah, I still rearrange furniture every, 3 or so years. But it's just beautiful to see life on the other side of professional football, and that it's vibrant, and that it's wonderful, and it's exciting, and that these men are out there, serving the community, giving back to the community, being engaged in the community, as well as embarking on some of their own gifts and talents, and embracing those. So, shouts out to you, gentlemen. Shouts out to you, gentlemen. Looking forward to all that you all are doing, and that all that you all continue to do in the community. What else would you like to share with the public, as you being the president of the former NFL players, being the voice? What else is it that you would like to share with the public on behalf of the players?
Well, on behalf of the players, I just think that if there's anything that you may have that you would like to get some players involved, we're very easy to reach, and my email address is bh5094@gmail. You can shoot me an email, and we will try to work with you to make sure that your event or whatever you're doing is successful in doing it. And we just want to be pillars of the community. We want to be men who are there to give back and not take.
All right. And to the players who are, I'm not going to say maybe because I know they're listening, to the players, shouts out to you, gentlemen, who are listening, what would you like to say to them?
Well, to the guys who are out there and who are former players, hey, be safe out there in those streets. Keep living and keep giving back.
All right. We are going to take a break, and this has just been a wonderful conversation. I always say where you and I have a conversation, and the rest of the world's eavesdropping on our conversation.
There you go.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back on the flip side of the break, I want to continue this conversation and talk a bit about your personal journey and what drives you to help others who are facing life-threatening health challenges. If you're just joining us, this is the Paula G. Show right here on Survival Radio Network, where we have worldwide conversations that expand the mindset. We are speaking with the one and only amazing Bobby Howard. This evening on the Paula G. Show, we're going to take a break, a music break, listen to a bit of Paula's perspective, commercial, not necessarily in that order. And when we come back on the flip side, we will continue our conversation. This is Survival Radio Network, the Paula G. Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment. All right, Bobby, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been talking about the NFL. We've been talking about football. But now I want to talk about the force that drives the director of the Multicultural Donation Education Program at LifeLink of Georgia. What drives him?
The drive is personal. In LifeLink of Georgia, we are the organ procurement organization for the state of Georgia, basically, that we recover all organs for transplantation: heart, lung, liver, kidneys, pancreas, bone, skin, ligaments, tendons, and eyes for transplantation. My role at LifeLink as the director of our multicultural program is to ensure that all people from the minority communities have the proper information as it pertains to organ and tissue donation. I said it was personal. Growing up as a young guy in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I lost my mother at the age of 13 My mother had a kidney transplant, kidney failure and a kidney transplant, but she only survived a year. I myself personally, after playing football and retiring, and probably a year and a half after I got out of the NFL, I came down with kidney failure myself. Fortunately for me, I've received a transplant, and I've had my transplant now for 25 and a half years and going strong. And I just made it, when I was on dialysis, a mission that I didn't want to see any other folks of color suffer the way that I saw my mother suffer and go through what I did. Now, I didn't suffer, but just going through what I did, and I wanted to do everything in my power to see if I could change to make sure that more people of color were able to receive transplants. So that drive is personal, and even though it's my job, if I weren't getting paid a dime to do it, I would still be out there on the battlefields making sure that we as people of color have our fair opportunities to receive, but yet we're also putting into the system so that our people can take out of the system.
So what are some of the apprehensions that you face when you're presenting this to people of color? Some may be hesitant to agree to donate their organs when the time comes, or have their organs donated. What are some of the apprehensions that you face or that you hear?
The biggest apprehension that I face and hear, that my team hears a lot more than I do because I'm not as out there in the field as much anymore, but the biggest apprehension is mistrust of healthcare. Due to the Tuskegee study, and we're so close to Tuskegee being here in Georgia, that we don't trust the healthcare system. We believe that if we got into a car accident and we had organ donor on our driver's license, no one's going to save our life. They're just going to take our organs and give them to someone else. I have some sad news for all of you who feel that way. That's not how it works. Healthcare professionals are there to save your life and not end your life. And their responsibility is just to call us when there's death. No one can talk to you about organ donation outside of LifeLink of Georgia. There are things that are put into place. For example, if we'll use Grady Hospital as an example, if someone passes away at Grady Hospital, when the hospital talks to that family, the hospital could lose their Medicare funding. We're the only organization that can talk to families about organ and tissue and eye donation. So there are safeguards and mandates that are put into place to help the community feel at ease, is that that's not truly going to happen. But now, on the flip side of that, why is it vitally important that we as people of color get involved? A few quick statistics. African Americans make up 68% of all patients on the list here in the state of Georgia. And when we look at kidneys alone, 97% of our African Americans waiting for organ transplant are waiting for kidneys alone. Due to high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity are the three leading causes of kidney failure within the African American community. Kidneys are the only organ that we do a genetic match for. And in most cases, it's best that your kidney comes from someone with your same ethnic background. So with all that being said and simply put, when we don't donate our organs upon the time of our death, then our people suffer and die on dialysis. And if you drive around the state of Georgia, there are dialysis centers all over this state. If you walk into one, I guarantee you 95% of those folks will look like you and I.
Yeah. And so many of them in, some of the areas of Atlanta that I've worked in and I've traveled in, I've seen a lot of centers, new centers.
Yes.
Opening up in those areas, enough that it caught my attention.
And the numbers are so astronomically high. If you and I, and we got a couple partners and wanted to find some land and say, hey, let's open up a dialysis center.